screwdriver had a warrant arrest, and something like that. You know?
Yeah. Good evening, Bellingham. August 5th, 2024, 6:30. We're gonna continue with our meeting agenda. And before we start everything, we're gonna do a couple things a little more different today. And I would like to ask you, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. And if you can remain stay, and then we would like to have a moment of silence for Anna Devashian's husband, for Al Devashian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Pleasure to have everyone this evening, and the first thing on the agenda, it's gonna be really quick before we move to the second part of it. Vote to award the fire feasibility study contract to Tecton. Chief,
Yeah, the Chief Miller is here. I sent out an email to the board. It was a unanimous recommendation of the committee. The board did appoint a committee a short time ago. Mr. Martinez was on that committee as well. By far and away, if you look at the score, I'm sure you looked at the scoring summary when the email went out. Tecton Architects were by far and away the highest rated by the members of the committee. So we'd like to have a motion to award is it officially called feasibility study or space needs study?
Feasibility study.
Feasibility study for the fire department to Tecton Architects.
So
Oh, second.
you got it. No, because I was on the committee, so go ahead. You should, yeah.
second. So we got first, we got the second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None?
Excellent.
Nope, I know the
I vote.
chief is eager to get going on that, so.
We're on the phone tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. Looks like we doing we moving on, please. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, my apologies. Before we actually move to the second part of it, and as you're probably aware, the town of Bellingham had a quite a good week last week. It's we would like to recognize our fire and police departments. Obviously, they had their hands full, and but absolutely they handle everything fantastically, from the fires, the manhunt, all that stuff is handled the way we want to see, and we cannot thank you enough. And just I would like to recognize them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Great. And I think the keeping the citizens up to date on the on the Facebook pages and stuff was very helpful.
Yep.
Individuals answering questions, what's going on in South Bellingham, et cetera. I thought it was fantastic. So great job
Yep.
by the fire and police.
And their dispatches.
And they
And the
absolutely,
dispatchers, you're right.
for sure.
Dispatchers are awesome.
And also, if you haven't checked out our new website, please go on and then check the new website. There is a lot of new updates, as well as Hillary actually took the lead on the our Facebook page. If you haven't liked it, just go and like it. And then there's a very great information available on our social media page.
And nice article, Hillary. Nice picture on the front.
thank you.
Nice job, Mr. Hamway.
Thank you so much.
You made me famous in town.
Yeah.
It
looks great, works great.
She deserves it.
Thank you. That's my biggest fan right there.
And then the main part of the meeting, and on behalf of our select board, I would like to thank you for volunteering and help us define our successor for the town administrator position. So this process it's gonna help us to establish the committee tonight, and then after that, we'll hand it over to Hillary and Dennis, and then basically they'll go through the whole applicants and they'll funnel it down to the select board onto the last step of the process. And I know you receive an email from Hillary, and we're gonna give you 5 minutes. You're gonna come and talk about some of the topics are actually very crucial for this process. Past experience, participate in a professional interview process, any experience in local government activities, town meetings and elections. Whether you have volunteered on a town board or committee, PTO, or any school group activities or coaching. Flexibility of evening schedule between mid-September through mid-October, and of course, the knowledge of the town administrative role. And so those are gonna be the topics we would like to see to talk about. And then whenever you are ready, and I think the first one on the list is Mr. Brian Hall. If you have a moment, we would love to have you here.
Start us off, and I'm just gonna set a timer just to move the meeting along so we don't get caught.
Yeah, I don't have like a
No.
script or anything.
Okay.
Okay, Brian Hall, 34 High Street. I've lived in Bellingham for 25 years. I have a business in town, Threads Limited. I've had that business for 18 years. And just keeping with the order here, my experience with interviewing process, I haven't gone through a lot of interviews because I was always recruited and I worked for many years, long stretches at the companies that I worked for. Until quitting and starting my own business, I've interviewed many people. Well, I should say I've interviewed a number of people for sales positions. I've mentored salespeople throughout my career. I've interviewed admins and lower sort of management people. But primarily my background is in sales, so that's where I've really spent most of my time. As far as local government activities, town elections, I haven't participated in any other way other than supporting candidates, making signs, making material. I was pretty heavily involved in some of the more recent things in town with the charter meeting. I attended a lot of those. The last election, I try to attend all the town meetings and stay aware of what's happening. Because I do care about the town. I do want to see what's best for the town. I do think that the town, there's a lot of small town, politics, and I try not to get involved in all that. But I think it can have a negative effect, and I've seen some of it. So I've decided to speak out on occasion, and y'all know who I am. So you know where I stand on a lot of things. As far as volunteering for boards and committees or coaching and things like that, very active in that. My daughter's 23 now, and I started coaching girls softball when she was 7. And I did that for at least 7 years. I was on the board of directors for Bellingham girls softball for, 3 or 4 years, maybe 5. I did all the uniforms, very active in that regard. After that, I actually helped coach basketball. Tanner came on, I switched to baseball. I coached baseball for 3 or 4 years. I went and coached Pop Warner for 3 years. I helped Steve Monagani and coach boards with the wrestling program, you know that.
Yep.
And throughout the course of doing all of that coaching and having the business and dealing with many business people in town, I've probably come in contact with thousands of residents, probably more than most people, I would think, just because I'm out there, in that sphere for 10 years. And you spend a lot of time as a coach, more than you would, serving on a board that you meet once a month or once every 2 weeks. But I enjoyed that. I actually missed that. I have no problem with any of the flexibility or attending meetings, whatever. My hours are my own. I can come at night. Night is preferable for me, obviously, but I make my own hours, so attendance wouldn't be a problem. And as far as the knowledge of the town administrator role, I mean, I've known Dennis for quite a few years. I was active in the I don't know what you want to call it, when EMC, if you remember when EMC wanted to put their big facility down off of Maple, I got involved in that. So I think when I started to talk to you, that was, how many years ago was that? It's quite a few years ago.
20 years.
I know he's basically the CEO of the town and facilitates and coordinates short-term and long-term objectives for the town. I think you're responsible for the budgets to some degree with negotiating with the police, the fire, I don't think you have anything to do with the school budget, but, you know, you're also a liaison to the people and you coordinate, you know, inter-office, interdepartmental, things that have to, you know, be addressed, and I'm sure a lot of that comes up. It's gonna be tough to replace you for sure. This has been a sort of, I don't know if it's been contentious, but, I've been very aware of what's been going on in the town in with regard to this in particular. And my whole focus is just. It's on the integrity of the process. That's really what I'm focused on more than anything. I just want the process itself and the people involved, you know, held to a high standard. That's really why, you know, I want to be involved. So I don't know if I have time enough, but I don't really need any more time.
7 seconds, look at that. Good job.
That was a good time management.
So I don't know if there's questions or if you're, I don't believe there's any questions, but if anyone has any questions. You know.
I think just basically you hit it right on the head, and that I think it's a lot of values that way, and it's what we're trying to do. And I really appreciate it for your time. I think you're highlighting great things. And we'll go on to the next one.
Yeah.
You asked for this quick time management. I'll tell you what's-
Let's work with it on.
Way to break the ice.
Thank you. Okay, and I appreciate it for the Mr. Hall's time, and then the next one on the list is Dennis Trevino.
That's it.
How are you, sir? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My name's Dennis Trevino. I live at 102 Payne Street in Bellingham. I've been a town resident since 1985. I've been in construction my entire life. 1978, I joined the Carpenters Union. Within the course of that, I ended up being the vice president of Local 535 for 14 years. Also during that time, I served as a delegate on the New England Regional Council for 14 years. I hold a construction supervisor's license. Recently, and I also own my own company, Trevino Construction, where I've had it for 28 years. Recently, I spent 9 years on the planning board in the town of Bellingham, which I enjoyed actually tremendously. I also served on the overlay committee for Hartford Avenue, and that got approved. I think I've known Dennis by a long time. I think it'll be a good fit for this committee. And I just want to make sure we get somebody as good as Dennis to replace him. And thank you for your time.
I appreciate it for your time.
You're welcome.
And I think you highlighted everything very quickly. Again, less than 5 minutes today, so I thought we had a record, but it looks like you just broke the record. And so if it's that the case, then it's looks like you're gonna be moving along quite a bit. The next one is Tina Haynes. How are you? How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you for your time. I think I'll fall somewhere in between the time limit. My name's Tina Haynes and I live at 18 Matty Way. Been a resident of Bellingham for 24 years. My husband's a townie, as my daughter likes to call him. And so in regards to my past experience, I started my career in a corporate environment in human resources department, actually sorting through and reviewing resumes and selecting candidates that would be a good fit for the role that the director was hiring for. That's back when they were all paper. But my husband and I, Scott, you've probably seen his blue van driving around, Scott and Haynes Electrician Incorporated. We've had that business for over 20 years and we have had to hire for the role of electrical apprentice several times during that 20 years. So I've been a part of that process with him. And I am also a broker owner of my own real estate brokerage. And so I interview new and experienced agents constantly, as well as interacting with my customers. I'm always being interviewed myself by customers and clients, work with attorneys, lenders on a daily basis. As far as my experience with local government, I've never had the opportunity to serve on a board before. But I try to stay very up to date. Specifically, I spend a lot of time watching Conservation and Planning Board. And, you know, my role as a real estate broker, I do have to interact with building departments, not just the town of Bellingham, but any town that I might have a client in, as well as Board of Health, Conservation and Planning. And as far as volunteering in the town, having two children that have grown up and gone through the Bellingham school systems and played sports here in town. My oldest is 26, my youngest is 20. I've had opportunity to coach soccer, youth cheerleading. I, for many years, was an assistant coach at the high school for cheerleading. I've helped on the PTO, was on the committee at our beloved Macy to raise the funds and install the new playground. And then most recently, I was part of the Operation Graduation Committee for the class of 2022 that we thankfully got to hold at the school. So that was special for all of us. My schedule is totally flexible. Being a broker owner, I have the opportunity to set my own schedule, so I'm available whenever is most convenient for the other committee members. And as far as my knowledge of the town administrator role, I mean, what I know is that the town administrator manages the day-to-day operations of our town. They work in conjunction with your board. They do oversee and make sure, you know, that we're staying on our town budget as set. And they also interact with the people of Bellingham. Probably not the most fun part of the job, but they get to hear any of the townspeople's complaints and be a part of resolving any issues that we as residents might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it for your time. The next one on the list, I think,
I don't think he's here.
Ronald Campano. Mr. Campano is here.
I don't see him. I'm not here. I don't see him here.
I know we have his resume here, and then I know two other candidates not gonna be here too, so basically we'll I will ask the board, you know, it's consider that. And then I'll give you probably, obviously we got 5 minutes, but you know, we can take a couple minutes and then we can add our.
Yeah, sure.
And then we can move to the next person. Everyone has the copy, am I right? Okay, perfect.
I think when everyone's ready
Yeah.
to go.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone's okay? Yep. So we'll move to the next person, Christine, Tessio. How are you? How you doing?
How are you?
Good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Christine Tessio, 127 North Street. I lived in Bellingham for 20 years now. Past experience with the interview process. I work for a marketing communications agency, so I've helped with interviewing candidates and both for a full-time position and for internship position. Been in the field for, it's gonna date me, over 30 years, but 18 with my present agency. Let's see. Involvement in town. Most recently, I've been very involved with the planning board, the Bellingham North Street division, townhouse division that was going in. I ended up spearheading campaign, awareness campaign, very positive awareness campaign to let the neighborhood know what was going in, sending out, the planning board did like the plans, did an overlay with biomaps of the endangered species in the area. Went door to door with those, also contacted Bellingham and Mendon police to get accurate statistics. So that the planning board would have numbers of the street and what goes on in the neighborhood. Tina was one of the
Did a
neighbors.
fantastic job.
Everybody came together as a community. And you had, I forget the gentleman's name that has the horses. He was telling the story. Everybody, a lot have lived there longer than we have. But they told their story of the neighborhood and how townhomes really, 36 townhomes don't fit in the community. Ended up having a phenomenal presence at the meetings. It did dwindle off a little bit, but I helped spearhead email campaigns with the agenda notes that were going to happen in the meetings, and also follow up the YouTube, sending those out to everybody that signed up for the email list. Ended up, as most of you know, going from 12 units to 5 units in the neighborhood, so it fits the area better. You know, they have the right to sell the land, so it fits in our community better, and I think people are very happy with that. My involvement with town boards, currently I'm going on my 3rd year with doing communication and event chair for boosters program for my children's high school. And that's everything like come September, October, it's quieter. But come like May, it gets a little crazy planning for like senior events and spearheading what the event looks like and all the collateral for that. Flexibility, thankfully it's September, October. Very flexible once I come out of my last 3 weeks of remodeling a 1955 home.
Yep.
So, yeah. So that's totally doable. And then knowledge of the town administrator role, very familiar with Articles 4 through 6 in the town bylaws, reading up on that to see, you know, what we're looking for, what we're targeting, and actually the current position posting, like what we're saying in that post. And also looking into other towns and what they've posted for town administrators coming in and see if we can sync up with that and find big shoes to fill, but find someone for the position.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we move along, and the next person is Martin Roche Jr. How are you, sir? How you doing?
Good evening. Thank you to the board for having me here.
Pleasure to have you.
My name is written for the selection committee. I've been a town resident for 32 years. Prior to that, I grew up in Medway, so I've seen Bellingham grow from what it was 60 years ago to today. As a 39-year-old professional, I didn't say, I live at 31 Crystal Way. in Bellingham. Sorry about that. As a 39-year-old professional, I have been in a managerial role all my career, and I've hired from hourly employees, computer programmers, engineers, hired, interviewed with and supported managerial roles up to working with some of the companies I've had, working with the CIO and CEOs of taking on upper management, VP of operations and that type of role. So I'm very astute with the interview process and feel very comfortable with it, and feel I can translate that data from a resume and sit with candidates. And I think that lends itself to that. Currently, I'm a senior project manager with UMass Cairn Medical School, and part of my responsibility is hiring on vendors for the AV integration with projects ranging from 100,000 up to $5 million. So I have the versatility of kind of really seeing what goes on, and as Dennis's role as the town administrator, and the one that's a lot of big shoes to fill. Dennis has done a wonderful job for the town over the years. I've seen it, and I've been active with the town in terms of going to planning board meetings, Concom, in different roles. One of it was as we expanded Crystal Springs, we're going back almost 12 years ago, and we added on the additional units to there. So I was very involved with the planning board. I think it was around 11 or 12 years old. Actually, Mr. Martinez could probably say this, the charter committee. I can't remember when the last one, I know it's like 10 years prior, but the other one was kind of detained because of COVID and that. So I was on that committee. So I do know about the town politics. I do support the democratic process. I've helped out candidates by putting signs up and things of that nature. The town bylaws, I do stay up to date. I do watch the town meetings online when possible. I have had a dynamic change in my family life, so now I can become a little bit more active. My mother-in-law who lived with us has just recently passed, so now instead of taking care of her, it's, no, that's okay. It's we did good by her. So, I mean, other than that, I know the town, it's grown dramatically, and the role of the town administrator to maintain all the different departments and the budgetary responsibilities. It's a very key and pivotal role for this town. And that's why I decided when I heard about the search committee, I wanted to throw my ring in the hat. I think my professional experiences and the knowledge of the town will weigh itself very well. If anyone has any questions, feel free. But other than that, thank you for your time and consideration. And if I'm on, I will do my damnedest to make sure we have the best town administrator to follow this department.
I appreciate it for your
Thank you very
time and explanation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Being involved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will wait today.
No, you did not.
Next one on the list, Shannon Lynn. How are you? How you doing?
I don't know, how are you?
Good. Thank you very much
You
for
guys
your
are gonna
time.
have a tough job. There's some great applicants.
Merrier,
What's that?
more than merrier.
Exactly, exactly. So thank you for your time this afternoon or this evening, I guess. My name is Shannon Lind. I live at 24 Chamberlain Road. I've been a resident of Bellingham for 24 years, and I live here with my husband, my son Ben, my mother, and my dog, who's probably my favorite child. The reason why I'm here today is to express my interest of participating on the search committee for the town administrator. It's because I am passionate about the town, Bellingham, and want to ensure that we find a great replacement for Dennis. It was a big shoes to fill, as I've heard. And I'm committed to the success of the town. I have been in town, like I said, for 24 years, and during that time, I spent time coaching. I spent 4 or 5 years coaching my son in soccer. I also participated and helped out at Macy's School while he was in school, while he was still allowing me to participate with him. Professionally, I have spent the last 25 years in human resources, working as an HR business partner in a financial organization. The last 10 years as a senior vice president of HR, leading some of our larger HR groups. I have experience in recruiting, in compensation, talent development, and talent management. I've had plenty of experience interviewing, probably more times than I could count. Interviewing at all levels, from low-level operators to more senior executives in the organization. I support right now an organization of about 8,000 colleagues. And again, invested in helping my executives with their people planning, strategic HR initiatives. In terms of the town administrator role, I did read up. I also heard everybody else talk about the role as well, so I had the benefit of going 7. Obviously, the town administrator role is a very important role for our town. It's the CEO, the CFO, CAO, throw in another C, for the role leading the departments and also helping with the community relations. I expect it's a very complicated role, needing to balance multiple personalities, multiple interests, and collaborating across all aisles, if you will, of the town, as well as working with the community. So somebody who is able to manage an $8 million budget, somebody who is able to work well with the community, collaboration, negotiation, is going to be critical, and that's who I hope to help find to replace Dennis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great, I appreciate it for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is on our list, Doug McLaughlin.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Okay. In this absence, we only have 5 minutes. I'm going to give everybody a hard copy here. And that was to follow along here. Sure. Yeah, we'll switch those two there for you. Last time I checked.
Was that you?
I think so. I usually say here.
Nice.
So you put there. Okay. I'm Doug McLaughlin, and I've been in town for 41 years. As far as the criteria that Hillary sent to us, I'd like to just follow that. The first one being the past experience participating in the professional interview process. I had given a detailed sheet with my reference letter attached to the application, so everybody has that, but some things to highlight with, I was with Coca-Cola for 4 years, and hired a division controller who later became vice president, corporate accounting manager, accountant, admin clerical. I also had was with IT&T for 4 years. I had 2 financial management supervisors, but I hired one later became a CFO, and the others were various clerical. So that would be a yes as far as experience. As far as local government activities, not really, but exceptions, I created the do not knock bylaw based on the town of Yarmouth. And I was also involved in the 2008 New Hampshire Obama campaign. As far as volunteering, again, I gave a detailed sheet with the search committee application. So I was on the finance committee. At that time, we were having liaisons with each department. So I was with Dick Ranieri with the fire department at that time. Dennis had me start the capital improvement committee. At that time, we started with the DPW and Don DeMartinez. We also had at when Macy School was around, I had volunteered for 3 years, in classroom between 2nd grade and 6th grade. So that would be a yes on that one. As far as flexibility of evening schedule, I'm available all evenings. So that would be a yes. As far as the knowledge of town administrator role, I have Yes, but just to some extent, because as everybody said, you have a million things that you've done. So could listen. But basically, you're responsible to the select board for all administrative functions, except the school department and the library trustees. Basically, the COO of the town, implementing the select board policies to deliver services to the people. Examples would be like human resources, all hiring and firing of employees, with the noted exception above for school and library, contract negotiation. The exception to that area would be if there was a possible policy conflict, between like a department head and what Dennis was recommending, then they'd go to the select board, the select board would decide. As far as financial records, really everything, operational budgets, capital budgets, asset inventory, records, again, with the exception of the school department. Day-to-day operations, state and federal grant awareness is important. Council and collaborative with the select board is very important. Qualities and skills of the town administrator should include, but not be limited to, managerial approach, because there are a lot of different managerial approaches. Leadership, ability to handle fiscal problems, excellent communicator, being transparent, neighboring town liaison, knowledgeable about state legislature and legal affairs. So if time allows, I'd like to give a live specific example of one of my interview approaches. I don't know how much time I have left.
You have a minute.
Minute. So just cut me off.
Okay.
So, Dennis, you're the candidate, okay? I'd like to thank you for considering Bellingham as a possible choice in advancing your career. I'd also like to hear your thoughts on a current financial issue we're dealing with that will directly affect taxpayers. In the very near future, we'll no longer be able to meet our water financial obligations. Our expenses will exceed our revenue. So it's been proposed to increase water taxes 17% every year for 5 years to get back in balance, essentially doubling the current tax. Would you approach it this way as a professional outside advisor and our DPW director have recommended in solving the whole problem? Would you break it into parts? Would you involve others and who? Would you solve the current year's problem? Would you take another look at the 5-year problem for alternatives? Would you be transparent with the process? Keep in mind that this has been a decade-long issue that has now come to a head. How would you solve the problem? And who would you involve and in what time frame?
Saved by the bell.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
The next one is on our list. Haley.
Kaylee Collier.
Haley Collier.
Kaylee Collier.
How are you? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you.
Kaylee Collier. I live at 86 Pickering. I feel like a newbie to town. I've only been here for 5 years compared to everyone's 20 plus. But that is also part of what interests me in this. This is where we chose to raise our family. So I think that the next town administrator having a say in this would be something that interests me a lot and something that's important to me and my family for staying in the town. So my past interview experience, I work as a administrative supervisor at Braidman Women's. I've been there for 10 years. And it's my responsibility and part of my job. I am responsible for all of the hiring and onboarding of administrative staff within our division. And that also includes some research staff, some clinical staff, and our co-op students that we have. So very familiar, between the onboarding, hiring, training, mentoring. I'm currently hiring 3 people right now, so it's something that I'm very familiar doing. Experience with local government activities. I haven't lived in Bellingham for very long, so really besides just local town elections voting there, I don't have much experience. I do try to stay up to date on the happenings of what's going in town by reading up on the minutes from, town meetings. Volunteering on town boards and committees. So I was part of the Bellingham Women of Today for 2 years. I have two young kids, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I just started getting involved in the PTO. I'm really just volunteering for the school events, seeing what it's all about. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more involvement there. This past spring, I helped coach the Lady Hawk field hockey for the younger kids, the elementary school kids. And I grew up in Franklin and I actually used to work at the YMCA. So I was the director of a dance and gymnastics. And as part of that, I used to go to the Bellingham elementary schools and I would teach a class at each of the elementary schools 1 day a week. I did that for about 4 years. So that was pretty fun. For flexibility, I stay flexible. I'm very fortunate. We live in Bellingham and I have extended family all around that help out with us. So that's not a problem for me. And then my knowledge of the position. So my understanding of the town administrator is that he receives his direction or her direction from the select board. Who sort of oversees all different departments within the town, oversees the budgets. Helps with different initiatives going on. He's a liaison. I keep saying he because I'm referring to you. They're a liaison to the members of the community. And they have a lot of different hats that they have to wear and keeping everyone on track. That's about it.
Thank you. Thanks for volunteering. Okay, the next one is Paul Vicario. How are you, sir? How you doing?
Good. I think I'm the last one. You can take and talk as long as I want, right?
I wish I guess the floor is yours, but you only got 5 minutes. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you for considering me. My name is Paul Vicario. I live currently at 8 Sagamore Road. I moved into town 30 years ago. I lived on Farm Street at the time. And I moved over to Sagamore 10 years later. But because I'm located there, well, let me start with the first question first. I have past experience hiring people. I have my own photography business, which I've had for 33 years now in Franklin. And my hiring is limited to that. I'm not quite as experienced as some of the other people that have been here ahead of me. But then as far as experience with local government, get back to my neighborhood. I live across the street, for those who don't know it, from Home Depot. And I live 2 doors over from where those abandoned homes are, where they were planning to put in a gas station and rezone. And that was a kind of a mess that went on for like 4 years. And I helped with, getting it so it wouldn't get passed. And after the second town meeting where it wasn't passed, I put together, I think it was like 13-page report with photos and everything, and I brought it down to Amy downstairs on the planning board, and they said, this is what I think should go there. And that's when I got on the Hartford Avenue overlay subcommittee. I brought it to Bill's attention, and that's when I got to meet Dennis firsthand, and the other Dennis and the people that served on that board. And just through that 6-year process of doing that, and just through the nature of my business, I can do my edits on the computer and listen to you all. You're on the YouTube meetings. I've listened to countless hours, trust me. And that's where I got my introduction to town politics, reading bylaws and zoning board meetings and planning board meetings. And I've seen you all work, and I've seen how Dennis interacts with all of you. You be talking on a subject like was the override for the firefighters thing. And so now there's a 40-day waiting period, and there's a procedure and a protocol. You guys all talk to yourselves, and all eyes turn to Dennis because there's a wealth of knowledge there.
Yeah.
And he knows the bylaws. He knows the history of the bylaws. He's probably there when some of them were written. So it's helpful to have someone of local experience and also somebody that understands the select board type of government too. Because everything has to go to town election in order for zoning to be changed. And yeah, and that's pretty much my knowledge of
town administrator. Plus, being in business 33 years in Franklin and having grown up there, I do business with the town of Franklin. I know all the town councilors there. I know Jamie and I know Jeff when he was there. And I talk to them a lot. I know local politics there and I follow very closely the politics in the town I live in now. And my whole reason for being here is I just want to do community service. And we had a problem at Hartford Avenue and had to find a solution. So now we got a problem here and I want to be helpful in the solution of the problem. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. And thanks for helping out with the Hartford Avenue overlay.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so the next two people on our list, Kristen Noyes. Unfortunately, she's not gonna able to make it tonight. And I know we have her resume. As well as Cindy McNulty. And so we have the resumes and then we take a couple minutes and go through that unless if you already have done that. And we'll take a couple minutes with that. Great, okay,
Whenever you're done, you can pass them down.
okay.
Nice spot.
Huh?
Like a nice spot. I don't know. Guess you all must be warm.
I'm warm.
Curious, how did you find out about the committee? Did you see it on the town website or Facebook? Or word of mouth?
All very.
All three.
Yeah, I did a very good job.
Yeah, we're trying harder. Yeah. That's what they call it. Yeah, maybe like this. We have no interest, this is unique in that we'll probably only need 4, 5, 6 times. And, the specific stuff that- You really get exposed to Yeah, be very.
Yeah, so it's definitely word of mouth. In the town website. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. People post,
Yeah, we just redesigned it.
Oh.
Yeah.
The first time I dropped one. Because I didn't know.
I think somebody make a motion for the two candidates. If there's a second, we'll ask is there a motion for the other candidate? If there is, just like we do for the chairperson. So the first motion will be voted on first. If there's 3 votes, the next one. You can make, that's what I said. Depending on how many times there is. Yeah, I think you just handle it that simply.
Then so then.
I think it's, yeah, well, I thought about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think so too. Yeah. Like we get.
With the ones that we can.
You're absolutely right. That's why. Statistically, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
1 through 10. But 1 through 5, you're more likely to be.
You guys want to time me on this? No?
Five minute cover.
I don't think you did. You just said it. Yeah. There's no but breaking it, it's really strong. It's like, it's a lot of great background. Really?
We'll do that again.
I just am very impressed.
Oh my God.
It's very impressive.
There are.
You don't know, I'm not saying. I want to thank them, and, you know, they don't. You know, we're gonna have board. I wrote a note here, not to have someone run against you. But there's planning board, there's finance committee, there's a number of things. Here.
Can I just say, Mr. Martin, would you like to say something?
Yeah. I won't tell them there's a. I won't say that, I promise.
Excuse me, everyone, just for 1 second, while Hillary's trying to roll the points together.
No problem.
If I may give you attention for 1 second while Hillary's wrapping up, Mr. Martinez, actually would like to mention something,
Yeah.
and, on behalf of, select board.
Well, okay, well, I'll say on behalf of myself, but you know, if the board agrees, I'm sure. I just want to thank everybody here that came in. There's some very, very impressive backgrounds by all of you. I mean, it is a very hard thing to put a number to something. And I just want to say I'm just really pleased with the turnout. I'm really pleased with the folks that came in here to support whatever, your friends, associates. And I also want to mention, there's a lot of positions coming up in the next year that if you want to get involved, I mean, there's finance committee, capital improvements committee. There's a number of areas in the town that if you're not on this committee, there will be other committees. And with your impressive backgrounds and attention to detail and project management experience and analytics, all of that can be very, very helpful to this town as we look here and into the future. I mean, I wish you all could be on the group, and we wouldn't get the job done if everybody was on it. So it's gonna be hard for us, I think, but please don't take it personally. You're all very impressive. I'm really, and I've been on this board for a number of years, and I've lived in town for 41 years, and I have to say, I'm just really impressed. So thank you.
Thank you all. I think we cannot thank you guys enough. Every single one of you. It's just absolutely impressive group of people. And I mean, beside the fact, once we started making this decision, whole idea was just bring the people. It's just at least ask our community just to step up and then just to help us out with this process. And I think we all agree that it's not gonna be easy to replace Dennis, but we're lucky to have him around. And then with this committee, as soon as established, and with Dennis and Hillary, they're in the mix, and then they can funnel it down, and then, you know, we'll move the process. And really thankful with the whole process. Thanks again.
You want to mention if there is a time up for, no, we're
Let's just wait and see.
Just wait, yeah, fair enough.
Can we just clone Dennis?
We got some good news from the fire chief today, and I know Beth worked hard on the truck that was damaged. The ladder truck, and the insurance company came back and offered us it indicated that it was gonna be repaired, and the repair cost was gonna be about $1.1 million. We negotiated with the insurance company to purchase a new Quint vehicle at $1.8 million. They're gonna provide the money for us to get a new Quint, so which was great. So rather than fix the old ones, we expressed our concern, myself, the chief, Beth, with the person that was representing us with the insurance company, with having that truck fixed, long-term problems. So the Quint, essentially what it is, it's a pumper with a ladder. So very versatile. And we got news today that, a truck has been identified by the vendor that we use, also to state business, obviously. And, should be working on it as early, outfitting it as early as February, along with the other pumper that was authorized by town meeting in May. So
That's great.
we waited a long time for it,
Yeah, we
but, great news that we just got today on.
And I think the chief said our other pumpers here, it's in Walbridge.
Right, yep, we have a pumper here. Someone mentioned to me that they saw a Hopedale rescue in town, and we did. We borrowed a rescue from Hopedale. And we've done the same thing, reciprocity with other communities. We had an ambulance, 2 ambulances that were down for a short period of time. But I think that's been resolved, but it was, I forget who mentioned it to me, but somebody had mentioned it, yeah. So,
It's great news.
yeah, it really was good news as far as the outcome on getting a replacement instead of a fix to the old vehicle, to the older vehicle.
And while we have all these wonderful people here, how are we set for volunteers for this weekend? For Bellingham Days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a site to sign up.
There's a site to sign up if you're interested in volunteering.
What we do. Yeah,
I know Sue is looking for set up and break.
that's what it is, yeah.
Yes,
Big
that's a
time.
breakdown for the
Man,
for the vendor. I volunteered, I'm working on.
if you want to get up there, break up, set up and break down, they're needed.
Yeah, well, Hillary's.
Almost done.
Oh, you're almost there.
We've got 2 more left.
Okay, well, she's still tabulating. As you know, we went out RFPs, solicited RFPs for town council services. We've received 5 in, and Chairman and I discussed the time to schedule them for interviews would be that meeting in September, that I think, I forget what it was that we talked about, the 19th of September, I think it is, whatever our meeting date is in September. So we'll have all those firms come in. I would suggest we might want to start again. We have time to talk about it, but we might want to start at 6:30 again, where we have 5 firms coming in.
September 16, I think.
Yeah, okay.
16. Yeah.
Yep. That sounds right.
Just like a 16.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep the agenda light with the exception of those interviews.
That's awesome.
Because those are going to be a little longer.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a big decision to be made. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, at the end, you'll see, and it's what's out there,
and long before, I do have their proposal, so long before, we have that, a couple weeks ahead of time, I'll make sure we have copies, provided to you, so you have a chance to review those.
Okay,
I've heard the sirens nonstop.
I know what I have too.
I mean,
It's really.
it's not my tinnitus, it's the.
Town meeting next, Monday,
Oh, no,
Monday night.
12, yeah.
It's gonna be a quick setup. It's just the one matter. We will not have the electronic voting. It'll just be a hand vote. And as far as the audio portion, we'll have the Bose speaker there with a microphone. Simplifying because a lot of people on vacation that work those systems for us.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to try and. have
Well, it's only one
something-
item.
This is just,
One item.
this is just to
Very
put the
no
funds,
brainer.
this is just to put the funds to use.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Could you explain that just while everybody's watching?
Yeah,
Just, I know that some people, they had some questions, there was some questions were kind of floating around. If you can highlight it, what's the purpose of it?
Yeah.
And people, they can be informed.
sure. As everyone knows that voted in June, the first Tuesday in June, there was a question on there as to whether or not the town should be authorized to increase the tax levy beyond Proposition 2.5 by an additional $750,000. That did to hire 6 paramedics. That did pass. So we have the authorization to raise the levy beyond Proposition 2.5 by that $750,000. Now we have to go to town meeting to appropriate the funds. And that'll be the only matter at the August 12th town meeting to raise and appropriate those funds to the fire department. The only thing they can be spent on is the fire department for the
Right.
first year. So if that, so it's a majority vote.
It's a majority
It's a
vote.
majority vote.
Majority,
It's just
okay.
that one item.
Yep.
So it's just essentially, some have referred to it as reaffirming. The authorization's there, but the town meeting has to town meeting is the body that authorizes spending. So
Thank you, Dennis.
August 12th.
Yep.
7:30 at the high school auditorium.
Please,
Please be there.
think Bellingham days is when I saw you back the first time.
That was my, that was.
It was a sigh of relief, seeing you come walking up and.
That was the official coming out. After a 5-month hiatus, yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Because you said you were getting cotton candy for yourself and your
For
grandkids.
the grandkids, yeah.
I'm going for Friday though.
Yeah. They didn't have it 2 years ago, so they gotta have it this year.
know. Is, North Pole,
Yes.
area opened up?
Yes,
I haven't
they
seen
did.
anything on Facebook, that's why I'm
It's been
wondering.
all over Facebook.
Well, then I'm not on the right sites. Unless you posted.
She posted on the,
I did a search today too.
I had it on mine.
I saw it on the Bellingham site.
Good.
I think she's social media,
She likes that stuff, yeah.
yeah, so she
Amber,
was,
yeah.
she's all over the
She's
place.
all over, yeah. Nice to see it being used
Yeah,
again. It's nice to see another ice cream place.
Good family
She
too.
sits in right in the middle too. She sits in a great spot. To do it. Yeah, I'm happy for her.
The young entrepreneur.
She is
Yeah,
young,
she-
but good for her.
My daughter.
Go for it.
Dance with member. Yeah.
It's awesome. The whole family's great. I love them. I love Ronnie. They work really hard. Seems like the kids are following the footsteps.
I got it. I love it. Oh, my God.
Dorchester.
My mother's making this big mountain.
I had a
Came down from.
I explained to her.
Scotland through Maine, worked their way down here.
Yeah.
And I told Jen.
There's, they call themselves the dot rats,
Okay.
Dorchester.
Oh, okay. No, no Dorchester roots.
You're from out that way, right?
Well, I went to high school with, yeah, a lot of kids from Dorchester. Yeah, good kids.
Yes.
Dorchester, South Boston. and
I don't Christmas in Dorchester.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
They have those smoothies, like not smoothies, and this.
Oh, yeah. There's so many different. Like, oh, it's Sunday. Green.
We're in Sweden a couple of weeks ago, we watched it. Surprise, house, and we took them out for the day. And we went to an ice cream. I've never seen ice cream so large. We had a kitty called. His kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Ryko. Oh, my God. Nobody has Ryko.
Dennis, much visually experiment with this.
Yeah.
Here's the phone. James says hi.
But to get it from, Bliss,
This is in.
no. Oh, yeah.
I've never seen his phone this one. Yeah. They go, "This is our regular phone. Yeah. It's like $4.90. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know how they make it.
No, when I first started. Yeah. I don't.
The ice cream machine.
So what is it?
In Cumberland?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ice cream machine.
Is that across from that park?
I used to get.
There's always a line.
Chuck balls.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's all. There's online.
Like a very old school glass jars.
Yeah, we do Monroe. We got some-
Yeah, Monroe.
Yeah, so we get, yeah,
Yeah,
we do that. We get,
my daughter was looking into that.
it's the, I get the iced coffee, I get two, the big iced coffee. And then get the, milk and coffee.
We had a big discussion one day, as I'm sitting next to, you know, I'm waiting for but it's a lady there, and she said she was from Bellingham. I went, oh my God. She goes, and then she was like, she goes, oh, do you like ice, the coffee? And we saw it. I was like, no, I never have had it. I never have had coffee.
No?
Been here 45 years. I never had coffee.
You go to,
Loved it.
you go to Riceville for ice cream?
But I go to Rice for ice cream and I go for everything else they got.
Go inside and get coffee.
I never got this.
There's a certain brand that's sold around. Yeah.
Yes.
Cause they sell it at market basket.
Roland, I see Roland at Rice all the time when I go there. He's in there getting his pastry.
Oh, roll,
Capital committee.
oh, yeah, oh, Roland left, yeah. Yeah, he would be there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want me to make a motion to appoint these five, or do you wanna,
But why don't we have him read?
you wanna read it?
Yeah.
Okay. The ones I highlighted.
Okay. Is it five, right?
The highlighted.
That's five, right, Compton?
Okay, Dennis Trevino. Tina Haynes. Christine Teseo,
Tessio,
I'm sorry, Martin Roche, and Shannon Lynn.
we need a motion to appoint those five.
So these five, they got the most scores, and that being said, I would like to have a motion to accept the highest score in five candidates for our town administrator search.
So Jen.
Huh? Yes,
Jen.
so we got first, we got second, all in favor saying aye,
Right?
any opposed? No, so we got 5-0.
Can you read them again?
So we'll be reaching out to you.
Dennis Trevino, Tina Haynes, Christine
Actually,
Tesio, Martin Roche, and Shannon Lynn. And congratulations, I'm looking at the numbers over here, it's, they were very close, and I really appreciate it for your time. And, thank you and congratulations, and,
We'll be reaching out fairly soon and throwing out some dates and seeing what works for everybody as far as the schedule. The first meeting will just be to get together, talk about the process, and you know, a lot of it will be directed by the committee, but I'll have a framework for you. Okay?
well done, congratulations, they're all very close numbers.
very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can.
I'm gonna set that, it's automatically, so that's.
Exhausted our agenda.
Okay, we exhausted our agenda, and, I appreciate it for your time again, thank you so much. Like Mr. Martinez said, we usually call you for one. For committee as to volunteer, but we have other places you can join us. And I thank you so much again.
All right, thank you.
Motion to close the meeting.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.